Hey guys, welcome back to Time2Win Invitational. This is day 2. We are in for the third quarter match between Modernleper and Xixo. And Xixo recently joined Navi with the world champion the world champion Skaka.
World champion Hoi.
That's next year. So the world champion Skaka and Definitive champion and Havagan champion Hoi. So it's quite a powerhouse right now. While Modernleper, Modernleper is the same team with Powder, who just got eliminated by Spo from SK Gaming, and that team is Manalight. So, sorry. Just talking about the players in the tournament.
Oh, okay. No, it's not all about me. Oh, God damn it.
So yeah, but you're here with me casting, so it's fine. I hope you're having fun.
Yeah, definitely.
While we cast the matches. Those are some interesting matches to behold, especially that this is the second tournament after a year of conquest, right? Because we have the second tournament with last year standing this year. So what are your impressions so far?
Yeah, it's really good. The issue with Conquest is, or at least I felt, it was pretty much a format where you just took what you deemed the best decks, regardless of what they were, and just hoped your lineups were going to work well for you, and you picked the right deck versus, like at the right time. Whereas a lot of players thought it was quite lucky and actually just randomly picked their deck every round and just hoped it was good enough. Whereas Last Hero Standing has really, I think, got a few more layers of strategy involved in terms of lineup choice, especially the way we've seen there's certain two things at the moment with Last Hero Standing 1 ban and Last Hero Standing no ban, and both formats actually have different sort of levels of how you build your lineup and what you actually in the ban format actually want to ban, and it really does affect deck building, which I think is really interesting, and pretty looking forward to see more, as I think there's a few more tournaments coming up as well that are going to run that format. So really cool to see what the players bring and how they end their bans, and we see that both these guys have actually banned Warrior, which is
what can you tell me about the lineups?
Yeah, so Modernlepers overall took Druid, Warrior, Paladin and Hunter, and Xixos took Hunter, Warlock, Warrior, Paladin. So not a Druid from Xixo, which is interesting. We've seen a lot of Druids so far. There's some rapid games in the previous set between Spo and Powder. Whereas Modernleper, I think it's the first player I've seen today at least bring Hunter. I'm not sure what style of Hunter it is, but that's pretty interesting. And Xixo also bringing a Hunter. So
Xixo is bringing also the Warlock with Reno Jackson. So it's
Xixo's playing the Reno Jackson Warlock, right? Yeah, I'm really interested to see this. Yeah. And just, we'll talk about the Reno Jackson Warlock if and when we see it played, because I've got a few things I want to talk about on that deck. But for now, it is actually the Hunter versus the Paladin. So it's Modernleper's Paladin versus Xixo's Hunter. Xixo's Hunter appears to be the hybrid style with the Leper Gnomes curving out top at Savannah.
And he has freezing traps inside of him.
Oh, does he? Okay, cool.
We didn't see any other traps, only freezing traps.
We've only seen freezing.
He can have more.
Yeah, of course. But we see, Modernleper's got a pretty okay start. It is with the Zombie Chow into Minibot, Juggler, and Coghammer. So if there's ever an opening that's going to deal with Hunter, this is probably it. There's not a lot that Modernleper, I imagine, is wanting over these cards, because Minibot, pretty much everyone universally believes this is the best 2-drop in the game. Really durable at trading versus the early minions, and obviously Zombie Chow doing a similar trick. So pretty nice opening.
Definitely true, and he is being pushed to use that coin with the Glaive Zuko right now, because it is able to trade with the Zombie Chow, but at the same time he can pop the Divine Shield. That's very important. Now he's able to at least trade with one of the minions. The Zombie Chow is just changing so much in those matchups, right? When you play against an aggro deck.
Yeah, it changes everything. It means that a lot of the time, one of the worst things in Hunter is someone plays Zombie Chow, you're forced to just sacrifice a Juggler to them. And Juggler's so important a lot of the time, but it's one of the few cards that Hunters have that can trade away with the Chow. I mean, look at this. What does... and there's a Leok, which isn't horrible, but it's still the worst out of the three, because Hoffa could have at least killed the Zombie Chow or Misha could have absorbed some damage. Well, it probably would have absorbed the Paladin's hit and the minibot potentially.
Yeah, but Georg is just so horrible.
Even the Noble Sacrifice is going to be pretty good. Soak up one of the hits, and health's so important in this matchup. But the fact that Modernleper's ahead on health versus the aggressive Hunter is huge, and this Chow is going to give him 5 health back when he eventually kills it, but the fact that it's still alive just shows how well this match is going for Modernleper at the moment.
Yeah, that's very true, and if you think about it, even with the 5 damage up, going from the Zombie Chow, he can deal 2 damage with the attack of it. So it's not necessarily that kind of a drawback when you think about it. And I'm kind of surprised he is trading here.
Yeah, it's a weird one. He's trading, but also he's using his own health, which he is doing really well, but you can't take tons of damage, because the second, say, like Owl Juggler Unleash comes down, suddenly you might find yourself in some trouble.
I was thinking that maybe he was just really afraid of a of the Knife Juggler into Unleash the Hounds, because that might have been kind of horrible for him. But I would love to see an aggressive stance against the Hunter, because Hunter has no comeback mechanism apart from that one combo, right?
Yeah.
And if you can push him into a situation when he's way behind, he can afford to play a 7 high main on turn 6, because that's basically losing a turn.
Yeah, it's just too slow.
Yeah, so...
The True Seal was huge here. True Seal was actually one of the really important cards in this matchup, because effectively the 6 health swing is pretty big against the Hunter. So effectively you can deal, when you've been a bit more aggressive, you're dealing the 4 extra damage, but then negating the next hero power as well, if you go like aggressive and go face with it, which I think is probably the better use overall. But look at this board. I mean, the high main drops on 6, but excuse me, is it actually going to be enough? I really don't think so. And there's even an Owl. I mean, like, the Hunter doesn't, other than Howlmaster, doesn't really play too many taunt minions. Maybe a Belcher in some lists, but probably not in this hybrid list. But the Owl, that even if he wants, he can just kill the high main. But he can just play Noble Sacrifice and just hope his opponent doesn't have a Unleash. How much damage is this actually? 10?
I mean, there's no way he can be killed with just...
Is this just lethal?
Yeah. No, it was 2 off.
Oh, okay.
But there's no way
so far
Xixo can
behind,
win again. Yeah, it's just too far behind. Even a Huntmaster, even a Knife Juggler into an Unleash the House doesn't necessarily help in this situation, because you are just dead to the Silver Champion next turn. And that's basically it. Xixo was... Because of the Zombie Chow, he was just always behind on board. So you can see the importance of having the 1-drop, and even the help of Glaive-Zuka and Glaive-Zuka with the Leper Gnome didn't really help.
I think it was really huge that the Zombie Chow into Minibot, then the Cog Hammer's massive in the matchup. The 2 attacks enough to trade with almost all the early Hunter minions. But then the Divine Shield just ruins you, because as the Hunter, you have to deal with it, and it's never great. It's never going to be positive for you at all.
Yeah. And now we'll see the mirror match. Can we say that? Because we can't remember that Secret Paladin. It should be Secret Paladin from Xixo.
I imagine it's Secret Paladin. Because does mid-range actually run an Owl? I don't think so. Maybe it does. Yeah. I mean, we'll just say it's probably Secret Paladin. Not the best start for Xixo in terms of mulligan, whereas Modernleper's still not actually done his mulligan yet, but probably going to see the boom thrown away. Do you, what do you think about keeping certain secrets at the start of a game when you've not got a 1-drop? You for example, in this match, do you favour, keeping this like Noble Sacrifice against what you would expect to be an aggressive deck itself, or do you try and mulligan away to create an option for you to be the aggressor instead?
I mean, what you want to achieve in this matchup, I think, is to get an early advantage from the start of the game. Like, you want to get those Cockhammers giving you work, right? So if you have a 2-drop that can just take the power from the Cockhammer and just ensure that you can trade with everything that will be played on board while playing around Avenge, because that's very important. If you can just proc the Avenge when you want to do it, when you want to trade, it's very important to take that advantage. And now you can see that Modernleper is forced to use his Cockhammer without any real advantage of this Divine Shield and Taunt and that was very important for him just to take the early advantage of the board. But Minibot
Yeah,
takes that away again.
Yeah, I mean the good thing here is though Modernleper does have Avenge down, so he can play Zombie Chow and Hero Power, and then you'd imagine something's going to die. I mean, Xixo might have the opportunity to just ignore him, maybe. But I think it's just too good of a trade to kill the 1/1, and if that secret's redemption, maybe, because you never know if someone's got a secret turn 1. A lot of the time they play it to try and get value from other creatures. But you did see that. Oh, it's going to be tough. I think just dropping the Shredder at this point is reasonable. Oh, he's just going to bless the Kings and go face. Why not? This is a tough one because an Owl, or even if you bless the Kings, like some of the secrets can actually punish that pretty hard, and Modernleper is actually going to just use his own Blessing of Kings, and the extra 1 health is going to keep the Chow alive and kill the mini-bot there. And I don't know if I like the Blessing of Kings. It's normally so much more powerful when you have a bigger board, because then you create the Blessing of Kings like a 1/1 to create another big threat as well as your other cards like Lotheb or Shredder or something like that.
Now let's think, because he is way behind on the board, and that's the problem. He has the way of dealing back with the situation with just the Mysterious Challenger on turn 6, but till that time, he has to do something about the board, and it's kind of sad.
It's not great, but at least he gets the health back from the Chow, so he only takes 1 damage. Oh, but I forgot about the Avenge.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to point out.
Yeah,
that the Avenge will make the situation really, really not favorable for him. But fortunately, he is able to play the Xixo is able to play the Mr. Challenger first. So even though there will be a Lotheb on board, there is no weapon to trade with the Noble Sacrifice. So he will be forced to use the Lotheb to go through that if he doesn't want to lose the 4/2 minion. I totally forgot about the weapon. Never mind.
Yeah. The fact, well, I was just gonna say, so we just did that to each other. Then the fact that he had the weapon was huge, because it means now the way you work around Mysterious Challenger is if you have multiple minions, then you can at least control what you sacrifice into the secrets are gonna proc. But now it's like, well, yeah, you can equip True Silver, I guess, and attack. But what does that do?
I guess just play
Nothing.
Mysterious Challenger and pass the turn, because you don't want to proc the Avenge. I guess so.
There's no repentance in these decks.
Didn't he use 2 Avenge already?
Yeah, I mean the repentance for the Challenger, because he just played Challenger onto the secrets, right? So he's actually not playing repentance. So the Challenger stays as a 6/6 instead of a 6/1, which actually changes a lot. Not having that repentance now, so he's gonna just attack in, let the secrets do their thing that I'm guessing a lot of people have already seen probably too many times for their liking. What are the answers here? I mean, he can Owl down, he can Owl and trade, I guess. If he really wants to, maybe I'd just like Shredder and Creeper here, actually. Maybe kill the Lotheb. The problem is if you kill the Lotheb, the 2/1 easily kills you. And the 9/8 still sort of running rampant. But is the Owl,
he has to think also about the
Owl
upcoming turn.
Yeah, does he need to save the Owl for Tyrion? That's the problem.
I don't think you necessarily need to leave it for the Tyrion, because the game is going so fast with damage that it's stacking right now with the minions, that the weapon from the Tyrion doesn't really matter. The bigger issue with the Tyrion will be the fact that he has Divine Shield and the Taunt at the same time. So I guess you can just go with the Owl here to just negate the effect of Avenge, because that's basically it. But now, who has the steering wheel? Let's see. How many secrets are for Xixo up?
I think there's 3.
Right, there's Noble Sacrifice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think Avenge is down.
So
I think Noble Sacrifice, Avenge, Redemption. It's those 3, right?
If you attack first with the 7/7, you can proc the Noble Sacrifice and Avenge, and then if the Avenge will not land on Mysterious Challenger, you can trade with your Noble Sacrifice. The one that is alive, of course, on board. So this will be a 33% chance of total failure for Modernleper, and hopefully,
I mean, it's still not fantastic. It's okay. The thing is here, what he really wants to do is put himself in a position to just drop Boom. and just hopefully get ahead from that, because the both players are still relatively close on health. So it's not like either player can really, either needs to play defensive or needs to play aggressive. They're both very even.
He's not dropping the Dr. Boom and trades with the Owl. I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, he has to get ahead right now, and just by playing the True Silver Champion and Knife Juggler, he doesn't do that at all.
Yeah, because what did that actually do? You cleared a 2-1 and put a juggler with didn't even get a juggle. He didn't even get a juggle out of it. I'm genuinely surprised that Boom wasn't dropped, because although it leaves a stronger board for your opponent, you've got Dr. Boom on the board, right?
Yeah, he would have been in such a great situation right now.
It's worth something, yeah.
Whereas now, he would have played the Dr. Boom with 2 bombs. The 2-1 minions would have to trade first into the bombs before you drop the Tyrion. And after that, you still have the weapon to just destroy the Divine Shield and kill the Tyrion afterwards with your Dr. Boom. Yeah. Because your opponent has to deal with the 75 minion too, with his Pilot the Shredder.
So, I mean, this is not worst case scenario.
Oh my god.
Oh, never mind.
This changes the whole game.
Yeah, this actually is huge, because now the Tyrion doesn't kill the Shredder. You still get to play the second Mysterious Challenger. Does it proc any secrets? No, it's just a 6/6 for 6.
Yeah, well, still 6/6. Yeah, it's a fine minion.
At this point in the game, it's still pretty reasonable. So this is really rough. I don't think there's a way to come back. He can't even sacrifice his own Shredder. No, that's just going to be...
But not playing the Dr. Boom was the major mistake in this game.
Yeah.
He can't go back from that.
Yeah, I think because both players were actually so close in terms of health, there was like a 4 health difference. They were, I think, 18 and 22. Like, because Dr. Boom's such a threat, and the Boom bots can do crazy things, like, it was just, you either play it then and hope it's enough to get ahead, and it probably would have been, or you just never play it. And when you're in the point where you can never play Dr. Boom, you know you're pretty behind. And it was just an odd decision. I'm not sure what clearing the Owl changed. But hey-ho. We'll see.
Xixo ties the game 1-1, and now he will stick to his Secret Paladin, while Modernleper will be forced to use his Druid or Hunter.
Yes,
because they both banned Warrior.
Yeah, I would imagine he's going to go for Hunter. Because Hunters normally can do pretty well versus Secret Paladin. Even without the fact that people tech in flares or anything, none of that. But the fact that it can Juggler Unleash is just insane. Can just win you the game.
The problem is they can't really deal with minions that have Avenge on it, right? That's usually the problem. Well, if you drop the Freezing Trap, that's the one way you can deal with that.
Even stuff like Hunter's Mark or Bow, or even the Kill Command, because I think what you need to do against Paladin is actually just stop them from building the board and play the more board control matchup, and use Unleash in a way that you can proc the secrets with Unleash and clear it up that way, and hopefully hold off for sort of a turn 5 Unleash Juggler if needed. Those are the sort of the points in the match that win you the game, but I'm not sure which Hunter Modernleper is playing actually.
Well, I think we didn't see it last time because his match was 3-1 if I remember correctly. By the way, you can check the brackets by typing !bracket and see what's going on in the matches and what was going on the previous day. And I'm really... No, wait, who was playing? No, that was RDU versus Ponyhoff with the mirror match between Hunters, which ended up with both players being at 1 HP, by the way.
Oh, really?
It was quite crazy, yeah. And,
so we don't gain too much information. I suppose the Hunter's Mark is indicative of mid-range.
Yes, that's true. The Hunter's Mark will change a lot of the approach of the game, but you can't really keep it in the opening hand, even if you're going second, especially against those aggressive decks. And you can keep it, an example, against, let's say, Handlock. I think that's the only matchup where I would think about keeping Hunter's Mark.
How much do you like... So looking at this hand, because I think it's pretty interesting versus Secret Paladin, Unleash is obviously, or at least I think, a key card when there's cards like Muster in Paladin. But Owl, keeping Owl's kind of nice because it's one of the few cards that sort of trades with Shielded Minibot straight up. Which is a good one. It's similar to the way you work Owl into Mad Scientist in the mirror.
Yes,
you normally keep
exactly.
Owl because it straight up deals with it. But Paladin does have Muster, so the chance to deal that 1 extra damage from hand is increased. But getting the Coin Scientist out is pretty huge, actually. It puts you on a bit more of the aggressive stance.
There's a double mini bot.
Oh, yeah.
This also changes a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
the problem,
double mini bot's also good.
if you want to trade now, you have to play the Owl. I guess you can, because you don't really play around Blessing of Kings and cards like that. Like
I mean,
the
you could even
Avenge.
just Owl anyway, right?
Do you? If you want to play Owl into the mini bot right now, I think I would rather have the Beast on board instead of the Mad Scientist, you know? Because the Mad Scientist, you want to get the Freezing Trap as soon as possible, right? And this way, he doesn't play, he has to sacrifice the Mad Scientist into something else. Because right now, I guess Xixo will trade with the Owl. So you want to have that advantage of getting the Freezing Trap already out and nullifying the option of withdrawing it, you know, next turn.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh.
He's not trading at all. Well, he has Avenge, right?
Oh, that. Yeah, he has Avenge. Yeah, you wouldn't trade. But now. Well, now he can actually trade. What's the best way to do this? He's actually 1 mana off doing some fun stuff with the being able to trade, prop the Avenge, and use the Abusive to actually like kill the Avenge target. But the Divine Shield causes some problems with that. So I do kind of like that Animal Companion and hope for something good, and that's actually pretty okay.
That's the best one.
Yep.
That's definitely
Oh,
the
is he
best.
still gonna? I don't know if I would have traded that.
He wants to get the Freezing Trap now on the target with Avenge, so I really like that.
Oh, he's playing Freezings, isn't he? Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, he's playing Freezing Traps. That makes super sense. Ignore me, guys. Turn 4 Shredder's pretty nice, but again, the Freezing Trap's pretty brutal. Is this just now... I mean, Xixo pretty much has to rely on this Mysterious Challenger to win the game, I think, at this point. Because he's so far behind in terms of minions. Because the Shredder's going to trade into the Misha. Potentially die if he doesn't Bless the Kings, but then Modernleper's going to play his own Shredder, and he still has Unleash and Scientist, and he can go straight into Lotheb if needed, so he's definitely got a lot of tempo. He's choosing to trade into the Shredder, actually, and trying to keep the Misha alive.
Well, I can see that happening.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
But you have to commit into trading into that Thalnos too, because you know your opponent can play buffs, right? So dealing with that Thalnos might be very important. Also, you play around the Consecration for 3 damage, which then set up a good Masterful Battle kill on the Misha.
Do you have to trade? Yeah, I think you're right. So this is nice. I mean, 4-3 is still really awkward for a Paladin to actually clear. And again, he's got the Scientist in play, so setting up another Freezing Trap's going to be pretty nice.
So now, I think this is the moment when you can just be super aggressive with Palta Shredder, because you don't want to play the low tip the same turn your opponent can follow it up with the Mysterious Challenger, which he usually does.
Yeah, he does go for the low tip, but I agree, I would have liked to just Shredder this turn.
Well, the Shredder has more value in the future, right? Because it allows you to have more board control when low tip can just seal the deal after you play that turn.
I think what's good here is, though, this is the position another Micro Machine. This is the position you want to be in with the Hunter, as he has multiple ways to deal with these traps, and the Glaive Zuka's pretty nice, but I'm looking at potentially... Does Unleash Kill Command do much? Maybe you can just get through it with the Glaive Zuka and Shredder.
Well, the Glaive Zuka definitely helps in this situation, because you can go through the Noble Sacrifice, you can deal 10 damage to the face.
He can just bounce the Mysterious Challenger. Because he can actually clear off everything that's left.
Why would you do that? You just can go face with everything, deal insane amount of damage. It's 12 damage this turn and play... Sorry, 10 damage this turn and just play Palta Shredder. I don't see a point in trading here.
I'm just...
What the Paladin can do to you? He can deal 13,
if you don't trade,
17
7.
damage.
Yeah,
You can even go with the Unleash the Hounds to deal 3 damage to the face, additional 3 damage to the face, but I would really favor the the Pulsar Shredder and just ignore the minions at all.
Yeah.
Because right now you have to trade for the Pulsar for the Noble Sacrifice.
Yeah, I think the issue is because you've got Unleash and Kill Command, and you're going to win the sort of slightly longer game because of your hero power as the Hunter. I think having the chance to bounce the Mysterious Challenger and make it cost so much more, and all the buffs just are negated, is pretty big. He's got a cluster. Is that? Oh wow, those juggles. 2 juggles onto Lothep's pretty big actually.
Well, now we'll the third one. Ah, no.
Oh.
So he won't attack with the Mysterious Challenger.
Look at Unleash! Right? Unleash wins the game!
Yeah, that's it. Modernleper will take the game with Unleash for 6 damage to the face.
Do your BM and Hunter's Mark, the 7/7. He's got the mana. and he's got the damage. But yeah, I mean, that game played out exactly how Modernleper would want that game to go. As the Hunter, that is the game you want to play. You want to get the early sort of the ball control, get the quicker start. And even though the Paladin had double mini bot, with the addition or the help of the freezing traps,
yeah,
you could just deal with that. And I think the second the freezing trap hit on the Avenged mini bot, that was huge. Like that was a huge step for Modernleper there. And then it just continued to snowball as he just kept the board, and he even had the Unleash for most of the game and didn't need it. But the fact that he got himself into strong positions and he could effectively just chain drops every turn, and I think the Misha was actually really strong as well for him. If that was any other animal companion,
well, the Leo wouldn't help him with the freezing trap because he basically forced his opponent to use the first minion to attack into Misha, and that's very important to get the freezing trap out. So, yeah, that was very clutch animal companion. And as you said about the freezing traps, the importance of the first freezing trap was the fact that it has more value in the early game because your opponent has to use most of his resources to deal with it, right?
Yep.
And in this situation, the second freezing trap was nice, but it wasn't necessarily game changing.
Yeah, he wouldn't have lost the game if he didn't have freezing trap. You know, as we saw, he would have took 7, whatever. You know, like
you don't care about Paladin dealing 7 damage to you when you're at 26 because you know he has no way of bursting you down with anything in his deck, and equality doesn't work on heroes. So
yeah. Well, one of those that, you know, failed good balance changes is that equality doesn't affect heroes, which is pretty nice, I guess. So we're going to see Xixo's Warlock versus Modernleper's Hunter. Modernleper appears to have pretty decent hand, but then again, Xixo's looks okay. He has the two... Well, this is why Dark Peddler's pretty nice. Even if you have Dark Peddler, at worst, you play the Dark Peddler and you have something to... You can tap and play something else. That's on turn 3, if you have nothing else.
Yeah, but Xixo has an amazing start. Zombie Chow, Mortal Coil for the Leper Gnome, then he continues with the Peddler, chooses what he wants to get from it, to get a better turn 3 play, but it seems like Imp Gang Boss is the best turn 3 play.
Yeah, I think you can just go straight to drop the Imp Gang Boss here. There's the too much thought for the next turn for Xixo. Ooh. Would you prefer Power Overwhelming? Because he's gone for the abusive. Okay.
I was thinking even about the Boar because it trades with a minion from Hunter.
that's true. It trades with most things.
But I guess it's fine to take the abusive Sergeant. It guarantees you a trade with a Misha on turn 3, and that's very important because he didn't have any other options. He can Implosion. He can play the Imp Gang Bots into the Misha. So it was very clever to take the abusive Sergeant here.
What do you think about taking 4 damage and getting a +1 on the abusive over taking 2 damage and having a 2/1 abusive? Do you think the 2 damage is actually going to change much?
Probably not. I mean, that's fine.
Modernleper is actually running pretty dry on cards.
2 cards left, and those 2 cards.
Yeah. With Implosion, they're probably a little bit better. Only for 2, though. Typical. This is so now that we can actually talk about this Reno this Reno Warlock deck. Really interesting the fact that Reno has made decks that have one of multiple cards sort of viable at the moment. But also, it's so difficult to play around if you're against it.
It is.
Because instead of playing around like a set cards that you understand and everyone is used to, you're suddenly like, well, you know, we could have Shadow Flame. Or you could have Demon Fire, or whatever, whatever it's called, and then suddenly there's actually 30 cards you have to try and think about, and you can't play random like a lot of the time. You just have to make the best play for yourself, which is so much more difficult, but it takes more skill to pilot a deck with one of every card in, but it's really hard to play against as well.
It's very important to know that you can't really do the usual race against your opponent when you know aware that there's then there can be a turn when Reno Jackson just resets the game for one opponent. For one of the players, and that's very important to be aware of that when you're trying to switch the tempo of the game.
Yeah, it's huge, especially for a hunter as well. Like suddenly your hero power's a bit, you're just chucking on the damage, and then Reno comes down. It's like, right, just another 15 hero powers, and I'll get there eventually. So it's definitely rough. And this is the issue now where Modernleper's sort of splurged everything he's got onto the board because he just has to, and obviously a high main turn 6 is the best turn 6 you're probably going to get. But after that, he doesn't really have much left. And
now Xixo is in a great position because he doesn't necessarily. If he's playing only one-offs, then he's not caring about the damage at all.
And he can just spam live tap.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care. Yeah.
Emperor, well, this doesn't necessarily help this turn.
And normally in this matchup, or in let's say Warlock versus Hunter, the life tap's really dangerous because obviously there's potentially you're taking 4 damage a turn, which is rough. But the fact that he's already got Reno in his hand as well, and he can play any turn going forward now, is insane because you just draw through your deck quicker than the Hunter, and Hunter's sort of known for not being able to draw cards, to be honest. So he's going to run dry, whilst you can just spam live tap and not really worry about it, especially with this type of board where there's only really one minion there.
Mm-hmm. The only problem right now,
he's going to clear the 1/1.
He can clear the 1/1 and then he can play the Peacekeeper again after the freezing trap, and I guess that's what he will do because he wants to soak the damage from Savannah Jaime for now. Before, the important thing for him is to get a clear way to use Shadow Flame or Hellfire to deal with the hyenas.
Yeah.
After he kills the Savannah Jaime.
Yeah, and having the freezing trap is not the best draw he could have got, especially because there's so many low minions down, and again he runs the high main in, so I imagine we're not going to see the freezing trap this turn. Is bouncing a 1/1 as good as it's going to get for Xixo.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Boom.
Again, look at this hand. Playing one-offs shouldn't work.
But it works.
Look at the hand, and it does. Especially in a deck like Warlock, because you can just cycle through cards so quickly. What do you even like here?
I think I would actually go for the Emperor. Or maybe not. Maybe Loaded.
Yeah, it looks like...
wait. You can abuse Sergeant, Big Game Hunter. Yeah, the Savannah High main. Then you clear one of the hyenas, and you clear the leper gnome.
Leave a taunt up. Yeah, and you can leave the 1/1 as taunt. And again, Xixo will almost certainly know that Modernleper isn't playing Explosive Trap, so it's not like he's even got to consider, well, put a lot of low health minions on the board. What if he has Explosive? He just played a game against him and saw double freezing, and that's it. So, there's not a lot of chance that's going to happen. And there's the Dark Peddler doing some work by getting that Abusive Sergeant out, straight into BGH. And again, what we see from a lot of these Reno decks is more tech cards, because you are just running one of each.
Yes.
So you've got more space.
Peddler is really helping with this kind of decks, because you can even get cards that you usually will use a one-off in your deck. You can get a second copy from the Peddler.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty huge, and it also helps with the curve that might be a bit more rough by playing one-offs, not as reliable. But this is looking, it's looking.
I mean, for now, it's looking decently for Modernleper, but the problem is there's the Reno Jackson.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you can just clear the board and play Reno at this point if he wants to.
Well, he can tap.
Yeah, I mean, tap Reno's fine.
Tap and play a 4/6 minion for 6 mana, which heals you for 20.
Yeah, pretty fair card, right?
Yeah.
Although, honestly, it's something I've said as well. Like, fair play to Blizzard. I didn't guess that they would make a card that actually made like Highlander decks.
Yeah.
Even a deck. Never mind the fact that players to the extent of Xixo are running them in tournaments. Like, I'm just gonna play this deck with one of, there's only one obs in the whole deck. A month ago, everyone would have laughed at that comment, but Reno Jackson does some work. It's crazy.
Well, it feels like Xixo might be running one double, because he is shaking his head after this turn. And I would say that he probably wanted to play the Reno Jackson this turn, but he didn't opt to, so he is afraid of being killed. That's why he played Load-Up instead of the Emperor, right? And instead of the Reno Jackson.
Yeah, I think what he's doing is he's putting a lot of damage onto the board because so Lotheb effectively guarantees Reno next turn and guarantees not death. Because what can the Hunter play to deal 10 or 8 without hero power?
I'm still wondering if he has only one-ups,
Yeah, I think he must have, right? Because would you play a deck that we've only?
No,
seen
wait. He's playing double Molten Giants.
Oh, is he?
Yes, that was the case yesterday.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Because that's the surrender version of Reno Jackson, so he's playing double Molten Giants.
So that kind of changes everything. So he can't just slam Reno, and Modernleper could actually take the game if Xixo doesn't draw into a Molten very swiftly. This could be a problem. Because there's no other healing in his deck. Oh, sorry, in his hand at the moment. Yeah. And what's the draw?
There's the heal bot. Which
Typical.
kind of helps.
Caster Curse. Or buff for Xixo. So the heal bot definitely going to... I'm not biased at all. The heal bot definitely going to help secure this board and potentially the game at this rate. As with these cards in hand, you can't play this freezing trap's just dead. You can't play it, especially with a heal bot on board now. Double kill commands doesn't.
Well, he's forced to use double kill commands on the minions and then freeze trap the Loaded. That's the way of winning the game.
Enough. Yeah, there goes your win condition.
Exactly. So Xixo takes the third game and he has to win one more match with his Reno Warlock against Modernleper's check. Modernleper was playing with Druid was banned. He was playing with Paladin. He was playing Hunter. Warrior is banned. So he has to play with his Druid.
Yeah.
So with his Druid against a Reno Jackson Warlock, and I'm not entirely sure how this matchup usually goes.
Yeah.
But it's kind of similar to Zoo, right? You have a lot of minions, and you just play those on board. So it's kind of
similar. It's a tough one though because it's sort of like playing against Handlock to a certain extent as well because of the double Moltens and a lot of the more endgame minions as well. It's hard to say how you should play any matchup versus a Reno deck because at any point they can potentially just heal to fall. But I suppose if there's a class that's going to perform, it's the class that can burst for 14 plus late game. Because normally the Reno decks by nature aren't decks that rush early on. So the Druid does have the time to actually prep the combo and hopefully just bursting down because the odds on you playing Reno at say 20 health or something are low unless you're blatantly threatened by combo. So there is a chance, and it's again difficult to just say how any matchup's going to be played when the majority of the deck's one-offs. It really does depend on how Xixo draws. I'm not sure what Druid Modernleper's playing. Is it the aggro Druid?
One aggro Druid that we saw yesterday was... Oh god, who was it playing? RG was playing the aggro Druid, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it looks like normal... I say normal Druid, like mid-range Druid.
Yeah.
Okay, so Earthering Farseer, Siphon Soul, Implosion. Nothing too crazy. I'm guessing Xixo will know what Modernleper's playing in terms of deck style for the Druid. Just keep the Implosion, and there's Reno Jackson straight away.
Well, he still needs that Molten Giant.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, that's actually a bit of an issue, because when you're not playing a full Highlander deck, you don't want Reno till much later on when you can guarantee it going off. Unless you super JJ and play it as Tempo Reno in a game he was convinced he was going to win in Sea Story. And he did, so fair enough.
But still a decent minion, 4/6 are not... It's not something that you just want to ignore, right? It's a big minion. And the problem is, most of the decks that can justify playing doubles in a Reno Jackson are those decks that can really tap... really draw a lot of cards, and Warlock is one of the examples. But there's still a risk that double Molten Giants can be 2 less cards in the deck, and that's the problem. Because you can you trade your resource, you trade your HP points as resource to draw the cards, because you are counting on drawing that one of the Molten Giants and Reno Jackson till mid game, right? To be just sure that you can heal up. But the problem is if you don't draw that, or you don't even draw the Jackson till the end game.
Yeah, then the deck's kind of worse, because the deck only works because of Reno Jackson, right? So just the Shredder goes down there and gets the 1/3. The ability from the what is that? The Mana Addict, it's called, right? the ability from that probably. I mean, is he just going to hit him for 3? I guess because he's got the buff anyway. Is there any point clearing a 1/1 here? I don't think so. Getting the Ancient of Law out this early though. Turn 5 Ancient of Law is always nice. Draws a couple more cards. And it doesn't really look like Xixo has much of a good answer. He's going to go for the Hellfire to clear.
Well, Hellfire's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
But the problem is you don't put anything on the board, so Druid still has the advantage of being the aggressor, of being the beatdown. And I guess you can just play Hero Power and Shade. Because usually you want to keep that Become Hunter against a deck that plays Wild Ops. Because there are a lot of creatures with 7 attack.
Yeah, and also the Wild Growth is pretty pointless in my opinion, because it's Wild Growth into 8 mana, which doesn't really change much for Druid.
Especially when
it's all about 7 mana or 5 mana.
Yeah.
Or 4, 5, 7 really. So like Wild Growth doesn't do much, whereas an extra armor, as we see Modernleper taking that choice, might actually help. An extra armor, extra damage is probably worth more than floating a mana next turn, because he has the 7 mana play in the Ancient of Loss.
Definitely.
Lotheb gets dropped down, which doesn't really change Modernleper's next turn, I imagine. The Lotheb does trade straight into Ancient of Law, but he's playing the double BGH version. That could actually be pretty useful.
Almost everyone's playing double Big Game Hunter versions now of almost every single deck, you know? It's very weird to witness that. It's probably because of the reborn versions of handlocks right now. Yeah. And even handlocks are running double Big Game Hunters because there are other handlocks there.
Also, yeah, I remember playing a tournament not too long ago against a player called Two Bears. I played the aggro druid for Fel Reavers. He played this druid, and he had both BGHs. When I chain dropped Fel Reavers, he played 2 BGH. I was like, okay, you win, fine, whatever, next game. So the Shade is growing as a 4/4 this turn. Looking at the options, there's nothing really too great, because he's probably not going to try and... Is he actually going to kill the Lotheb this turn with Swipe?
Let's see.
It's a real tough one, because against this deck, when's Swipe good? Is Swipe good at removing a 5/5? Or is it good for, is the deck going to play the lower minions? Like, you look at the Gang Boss in the hand that'll spawn 1/1s. It's really tough to actually try and work out when the resources are best used, when anything could come out of the hand next turn.
I guess you usually save it for the turn when Implosion is being played, but one Implosion was already played, and you're aware that the opponent is playing Highlander deck, so there might be no second one, right? Yeah,
you just take your opportunity to use Swipe where you can, I guess, and for some nice removal. But Shadow Flame comes out, and there goes the Shade. We're doing no damage and straight into Mortal Coil. So draws in another legendary, which is the benefit of one of these decks. That you can actually easily squeeze in all these legendaries because you have so much space. Does draw into combo though. So the problem is, like, he can Drake Swipe, but that's super signals combo, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's okay, right? Because if you look at your hand, what can he play to stop you comboing? He could taunt something, but you have a second swipe and you still have the Drake down.
I guess what is very important from Xixo perspective is to get value from Sylvanas, because that's one of the swing cards in this matchup against Druid.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can get killed if you play Sylvanas right now. You have to taunt it up.
Yeah.
After that turn. So, well, can you play just Sylvanas and... No. You have to play Sylvanas and taunt it up. Then you push your opponent to swing the Big Game Hunter and Azure Drake into it. So Xixo doesn't get any value, but that's a good trade, 2 for 1, it's okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm just... Oh, okay, continuing a Dart Bomb, yeah. I was looking at Sylvanas Dart Bomb and leaving the Drake up, but that's still a bit ropey. But this is nice, this is pretty clean. But what he didn't do the earlier turn, he gets a 3, minion on the board, which is good. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Emperor's definitely reasonable when you have double swipe, double savage roar, and force of nature.
Well, you can join a second force of nature, but usually the force of nature and double savage roar should be enough to finish up the game. Especially that you can follow it up by 2 swipes.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is you can't really risk that, right? When you play against Rin Jackson, that's something that I didn't think of, because if you go for the force of nature's double savage roar, you have to kill your opponent.
Yeah, exactly, because the second, it's what we sort of said in the earlier match, the second you push them all the way, then they hit Reno, you kind of in a bit of a struggle there. But, so he taunts up, which is fine. What's he going to taunt? Okay, so plays it pretty safe. He's seen 1 BGH, but the second BGH is going to be nice. He even has 2 swipes.
So he can play double swipe Big Game Hunter, or he can play Big Game Hunter, swipe, Druid with the Claw. And that should be enough to maintain board position and ensure that he will win next turn. So in this situation, I will play swipe first. You swipe the Farseer, right?
Yeah, I would. He's hovering over Boom though. What's the other? What play we missed? Oh, are we looking at Boom? Big Game Hunter. Pass. Oh, hang on. So for
he will deal 5 damage to the.
Oh, does he want to double combo, double swipe next turn?
Oh, that's awkward.
Well, if he just BGH pass, he can double combo, double swipe, which I'm pretty confident kills anyone on any health ever.
That's true.
This is.
How much damage is that? That's 22. If with an empty board, that's 22. 20. That's actually 30 damage.
Yeah.
So if you're not a warrior, you're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Or a mage.
Okay, mage too.
So, and the problem as well is, like, Belcher looks good. I mean, he tapped, so he can't Belcher and heal, but he's probably not expecting this ludicrous amount of damage. Oh, he heal bots. That's not going to help.
Well, the Belcher wouldn't help either, right? Because the single valve has 5 attack.
Yeah, because he's got 10 damage spare anyway.
So,
13 damage spare.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, you play Force of Nature double savage,
what?
Right? If you play that in charge mode and you play Force of Nature savage, that should be enough anyway.
Oh, and he has Innovate as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so whatever Modernleper wants to do, he can do it because he has all the mana. Well, he has all the low-cost cards in the world, and that is one hell of a Force of Nature.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Like Xixo goes down to Modernleper, who just, I would say, does the right things because Force of Nature Savage Roar. This is something that you can't really play around unless you have a low tap in hand. This is the only possibility of playing around it. And it's not enough for Xixo to advance. The Reno Jackson seems to be, well, the problem of his lineup, I guess. I mean, it won him a game, but at the same time, it relies heavily on that Molten Giant, right? Because without the Molten Giant, the Reno Jackson has no effect, so it's a dead card in most of the situations. But congratulations to Modernleper. He will advance to the next stage, which will be the semifinals against Super JJ. Right, he'll be fighting against Seed Story Cup winner Super JJ, and the last quarterfinal that we'll see today will be between Ponyhoff and Cypher, and that will be right after the break. And after, of course, the quarterfinals will continue to the semifinals and the grand final. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.